to the people I can depend on, to the faith that's in my bones. Take me back to a preacher and a verse, where they see me at my worst, to the love I had at first. Oh, I want to go to church. Try to walk with a wonder lost. Now I'm making my way to the foot of the cross. It's not a trophy for the winners, it's a shelter for the sinners, and it's right where I belong. Take me back to the place that feels like home, to the people I can depend on, to the faith that's in my bones. Take me back to a preacher and a verse, where they see me at my worst, to the love I had at first. Oh, I want to go to church. I want to go to church. Oh, more than an obligation, it's our foundation, the family of God. I know it's hard, but we need each other. We're sisters and brothers. Oh, take me back to the place that feels like home, to the people I can depend on, to the faith that's in my bones. Take me back to a preacher and a verse, where they see me at my worst, to the love I had at first. Oh, I want to go to church. Oh, I want to go to church. Oh, I want to go to church.
Good morning, everybody. And welcome to Colonial Park, and thank you for tuning in. If you're on Facebook, Jake, y'all come on up, we'll wait on you. He didn't think I'd do that to him. I would like to, again, welcome everybody. Thank you for being here. We've got a few announcements that we're going to go through. First of all, if you've got a bulletin, please do the attachment on the side and fill it in. We're using that for attendance, and also there's places that you can mark if you want to learn more about Follow Jesus, gifts, the connected classes. There's a number of things on there that we would like for you to fill out if you could do that. Are we on the Susan? You ready?
I'm good.
Okay. All right, I want to look at the check-ins, the calls lead, hashtag care for kids, the number 4 kids. Every 10 check-ins provides a day of care for a child. I think I saw in the last 2 or 3 days we had somewhere around 560 something days that we've got built in through this program. So please go to Facebook, do your check-in on Colonial Park UMC, not Colonial Park Group, but the UMC. That's what that one's on. Next, we want to Leela Granberry is in charge of this. I think she has been all along in previous years, the Project Transformation. And that would be, we do reading one-on-one with children during the summer. This year, I think it's at a different location at Centenary, but we are looking for volunteers to read, sit with the children. So if you've got some time, it would be time well spent. Also, a little different, we've got provide a meal at St. Matthew's United Methodist Church on the 25th and the 26th of July, and that would be for the young adults that are serving. So we would have a dinner. So we've got different ways that we can serve in the transformation. So I'd urge you to take a look at that because it's always good to be working with the kids. 4th of July ribs. now we're talking. I asked Abbott in the first service, there is no cutoff. It's $25 per slab as long as they last. And so please, you can go online and sign up. You will be picking up Saturday the 2nd from noon to 2 in the afternoon over at the fireplace. So be sure it's a wonderful, the United Methodist men, well, they cook, I don't know, Keith, 5 times a year or whatever. So it's good stuff. They know exactly what they're doing. Equipping nights. What can I say about equipping nights? Thursday, July 14th is the next one. This is something that we started. They're tools. They're tools to in your discipleship. They're icebreakers. They're ways to get conversations going and learn in a relational community setting. They're really good. You can miss one month. The next month, they're not tagging on each other. So you just come on in. It'll be something new each time. I can assure you that I've sat with Nathaniel for 2 years, and I've heard these things before, but the class seems to bring something else out. And it's really it's a blessing. It really is, and I enjoy it every time I attend. And Miss Sally was at the last one, and she said this is good. So you don't get a better stamp of approval than Miss Sally. And for some of y'all that may know, Miss Sally was in the hospital this past week, and she is home. She's doing great. Matter of fact, she was in the first service today. So her prayers have been answered there. I've also got a sheet on, do you have the Lifeline screening? Okay, I'm not looking. We did this once before, the Lifeline screening, and we filled up. It's a great deal here. We have the fellowship hall. They come over, set up. You call that 800 number, and set an appointment. You call that 800 number, use that number, and it's also a call that 800 number going through church. This is open to anybody and everybody, so it's not, doesn't have to be a member of the matter of fact, I think probably they over half the members did last time. So it's just something else that we've added and can do with Andrew. So with no further ado, that's all the announcements I have. Let's do a quick prayer, and I'm going to turn it back over to Heavenly Father, thank you for this day. Thank you for these folks that are here and we gather here. We know that you're here with us, folks that are here and we're gathered here. We know that there are many ways that we can worship. Thank you for many ways that we can worship. Thank you all.
intoxicating in our secret place. 'Cause your love is extravagant. Spread wide in the arms of Christ. Is love that covers sin. No great love have I ever known. Consider me a friend and capture my heart again. 'Cause your love is extravagant. Your friendship is intimate. I find I'm moving to the rhythm of your grace. Your fragrance is intoxicating in our secret place. 'Cause your love is extravagant. Spread wide, sing it with us. Spread wide in the arms of Christ. stand strong and worship you. And if it puts me in the fire, I'll rejoice because you're there too. I won't be formed by feelings. I hold fast to what is true. If the cross brings transformation, then I'll be crucified with you. Because death is just a doorway into resurrection life. And if I join you in your suffering, then I'll join you when you rise. And when you return in glory, with all the angels and the saints, my heart will still be singing, my song will be the same. Oh, Christ be magnified, let his praise arise. Christ be magnified in me. Oh, Christ be magnified from the altar of my life. Christ be magnified. Sing it again. Oh, Christ be magnified, let his praise arise. Christ be magnified in me. Oh, Christ be magnified from the altar of my life. Christ be magnified in me.
If you'll remain standing for the reading of the gospel, I'll be reading from John 15, 1 through 11. I am the true vine, and my Father is the vine grower. He removes every branch in me that bears no fruit. Every branch that bears fruit, he prunes, to make it bear more fruit. You have already been cleansed by the word that I have spoken to you. Abide in me as I abide in you. Just as the branch cannot bear fruit by itself unless it abides in the vine, neither can you unless you abide in me. I am the vine, you are the branches. Those who abide in me and I in them bear much fruit, because apart from me, you can do nothing. Whoever does not abide in me is thrown away like a branch and withers. Such branches are gathered, thrown into the fire, and burned. If you abide in me, and my words abide in you, ask for whatever you wish, and it will be done for you. My Father is glorified by this, that you bear much fruit and become my disciples. As the Father has loved me, so I have loved you. Abide in my love. If you keep my commandments, you will abide in my love, just as I have kept my Father's commandments and abide in his love. I have said these things to you so that my joy may be in you, and that then your joy may be complete. That's the word of God for the people of God. I'm going to give you a little disclaimer to start with today, and I think some of you have, I've probably voiced this at one time or another. I'll give you an example. The first time I drove into Houston, I looked up and the interstate looked like a bowl of spaghetti had been turned over. And I thought, I'm never going to get where I need to go. Well, that's kind of how my mind works. So you're going to have, I'm going to start going places, I'm sure, today. And you're going to go, it's not you, okay? It's not you that's getting lost. It's me that's going around wherever to get back to, but he'll get me there, I promise. So don't worry if you get lost. You'll find yourself, I'll get us back there, I promise. I promise. He will get us back there. Okay. Today I just want to share some things that are on my heart. I'm going to pose some questions. It's not a test. You don't have to answer the questions out loud. Please don't. It's just some things that when I was asked, would you do this? Would you do the message? And I said, well, sure. Just tell me what you want me to say, and this is all good. And Nathaniel said, no. You write it, you do it, what's on your heart, and that's the way this is going to work. And I started thinking, well, what do I want to talk about? Jesus. So that's how I got to this. I want to talk about Jesus Christ. There's also in the reading, and I went to Memphis State, so forgive me, but abide. I think I've said it 11 or 12 times in those 11 verses. So there's got to be something about this abide thing, okay? If it was a commercial, I think they probably have sold a lot of abides. So I know there's something there. The other neat thing about what we just did is I'm giving you the answers before the questions. How cool would that have been when I was in school? Actually, I'm not going to tell you that story. So I caught myself before I got off track, because there is but I'm not going to go there. I'm going to move on. So, the abide in me, and I and them bear much fruit, right? Because apart from me, you can do nothing. What does abide mean? Abide means to stay or remain. It's a simple idea of remaining in a place. When Jesus talks about abiding in my love, he is referring to keeping his commandments, obeying. In John 2:3 through 6, it says, we have come to know him if we keep his commandments. Otherwise, the truth is not in him. The one that says he abides in him ought himself to walk in the same manner as he walked. I'm going to give you a thing. And that usually means there's something good coming. That sounds like discipleship. Sounds like something we've talked about a long time ago. You know, when this is Jesus, it's his life, and we want to match up. We want to be more like Jesus. We want to do more like Jesus. We've talked about that quite a bit here at the church. We've also talked about Christ-centered communities for the last few years. Mike has shared the board strategies with us. Nathaniel's and the staff have been working toward goals to have all the congregation in a Christ-centered community. Engaging, equipping, empowering to help people on their discipleship journey. Keeping Christ in the center of all we do. In verse 8, just read, Jesus says, my Father is glorified by this, that you bear much fruit and become my disciples. Now, discipleship, okay, maybe 10,000 times you've heard Nathaniel talk about discipleship in and out, and in his last series, he spoke about the examples of Jesus and tracing our lives around and be more like Jesus, do more like Jesus. Do you remember the definition of disciple? Keep that up. You don't have to holler it out. The question I think that has been coming back to me over and over. Do you know Jesus? Now, not do you know about Jesus, but do you know Jesus? You know, when we start questioning that, we'll hear people say, yeah, you know, that he walked on water. He raised people from the dead. He healed the blind and the lame, and he died on the cross. He was crucified, buried, rose, the Messiah. But that tells us about Jesus. Do you know Jesus is my question today that we're going to talk about. The Jesus that you carry around in your heart. The Jesus that calls us to a new way of life. Do you know that Jesus? Being a Christian does not just consist of let's be kind to the poor and let's take care of some needy and we're going to go to church on Sunday and sing hymns and serve on a committee. These things are all included. But first and foremost, do you have a love relationship with Jesus? So do you know Jesus? You know, growing up, I haven't yet, but I've heard it's not a bad thing. In my younger days, and I think we have probably all know Jesus loves us. It's a great Jesus loves me, this I know, and I'm not going to be in the band, that's for sure. Because the Bible tells me so, right? Jesus loves me. The Bible told me so. Well, the Bible tells me so. It's not really a relationship with Jesus, right? It's not really knowing. Now, the Bible tells us a lot of things. But Jesus is the Word in flesh. Right? He's our example. He's the one we have the relationship with. He's the one that we want to be close to. Right? He's the one we're going to know. When we know Him, we'll know Him. Not something says that He does. I don't know if most of y'all have done this, but I'll confess to this, and many other things. When you had a child, real young, and you sneak into the bedroom, and you get around the crib, and they're sleeping, and they look so peaceful, and you just love them to death. And then, boom, I hit the bassinet. He wakes up. So why not? You know, you pick them up, you start to hug them, you love them to death, you kiss on them, and well, it's just a coincidence that they woke up until the wife comes in. But I have a feeling that there's a Jesus sitting on your nightstand every morning. And you wake up. And he's ready. Let's go. Let's get excited. What's on the agenda today? I'm ready. I love you. That's that unconditional love that's there. Right? He just wants to hold you in his arms. Do you know that Jesus? You know, we all are on spiritual journeys. And journeys take us to different places at different times. And there's many bumps and there's many road bumps, there's speed bumps, there's what all kinds of bumps. And one day, going back, you spot somebody. You go, whoa, now that's a looker. Okay? And I'd like to get to know them better. Right? I see you shaking your head, Rick. And I said, looker. Okay. So, you meet this person, and you start to go out, and the next thing you know, 4 or 5 days down the road, this is not who I thought this was. You know, or they know. And it's done. But you know, some of us that are married, we've gone down some of these journeys, some of these roads, and some of these bumps and whatnot. And you get to know someone better and better and better as you're in the relationship. Not that you read about it, or you see them once a week, only on Sundays, but you have a relationship. You know, Susan, I could tell you when Susan's going to cry in a spot in a movie, which probably most of y'all can tell. But the neat thing is, as the relationship grows, now I can tell you why she cries. Not that she just wants to. I get to know her more and more and more. And as we get to know each other we're coming as one. I think that's what he's saying. Abide in me. I abide in you. Remember the answer. Now, the other day and I'm picking on Susan. The other day, and this is a true story. I still don't know why we say it, but we say it. Like we're going to get up and fly. But this is a true story. I was sitting in the den, and I was either watching, you know, at that point the Razorbacks were doing very well in baseball, so I may have been watching them. And I put my shoes on, and I looked up. Susan sitting there too. She gets up. She goes to the bedroom, and she comes back out with shoes. She sits down, starts putting her shoes on. So what are you doing? And she said, I'm going with you. I don't care where we're going or what. I just put my shoes on. But she was ready to go, right? Do we wake up in the morning with Jesus going, I don't care where I'm going. I just want to go. I want to be a part. I want to be with you. I want to have that relationship with you. Do we do that? So do you know that Jesus? Because that's the Jesus that I'm speaking of right now. You know, we see folks out here at the food drive, the food pantry, and man, I see the I love yous and smiles and can I help you and it just the things that are going back and forth with the folks that are here. We're serving. But boy, what we get out of that. Sharing Jesus with somebody else. Do you know that Jesus? You know, we had 5 young men came to help us one day out here, and I watched them serve some, and then I watched them start to take interest in some of us more mature guys to make sure we were okay. We get too hot, you need a chair, you need it. It was one, and they were, it was the kindness, and it was the way they were going about it, young man. And won't call them. You know that. You know, Jatan used to talk in the staff meetings, and then I started to realize why it takes me a little longer. He's talking about when Jesus is in the boat and waves, wind, and all this is going on, and the disciples are freaking out. Jesus is asleep. They have to wake him up. What's going on? What are you going to do? Do you not know me yet? Do you not know me? Now, I think there's times in our staff meetings when Jathaniel would say, are you guys ever going to get it? I can imagine that. But do you know that Jesus? Do you really know him? The room in the inn. We serve, we go over, you sit across from somebody and you talk to them. And you take all those things away that are racism or prejudging, or you take those things off the table, you look and it's another human being. It's somebody that was made in the image of God. We all are. Do you know that Jesus? Because there's the discipleship when we're talking about being, and then we're also talking about doing. You know, we talk about love being an action. But we also talk about faith is action as well. Okay? So do you know that Jesus? The Jesus that on the night before he was crucified, he was at the table with, ate with, and washed the feet of his Judas. I read somewhere, or probably it was a Facebook that went by. You'll know when you can sit at the table with your Judas, then you'll know Jesus. Do you know that? Character traits that we could go through and talk about Jesus. compassionate, forgiving, self-control. The list goes on and on. But do you remember back when I said, do you remember the definition of the discipleship? Here it is. Striving to have the character of Jesus. Be like Jesus, and the competency of Jesus. Do like Jesus. So, when we see those characters, the kindness, the patience, the forgiveness, the self-control, we see those things in Jesus. So, how do we do that? How do we get there? Well, we can't on our own. We can't do it. He says, if you abide in me, and my words abide in you, ask for whatever you wish, and it will be done for you. We'll get back to the answer. Now we get to the questions. You know, discipleship journeys, how we share the love, the compassion, the forgiveness of Jesus. How do we do that if we truly don't know Jesus? How do you do that? Because when the Spirit works within us, and this is one of those that it was like, huh? Or an aha when it happened. When the Spirit's working through us, that's when the door is open. That's when you know the love, compassion, forgiveness of Jesus. That's where it comes from. The Spirit's coming in, and it's coming back out of you. You're showing now Jesus' love. You're showing Jesus' compassion because it's coming through you. Do you know that, Jesus? It's coming through you. You can't until you. I don't know if we can think back. Some of us, I don't know if we can think back far. And this is, I hate to tell you this, but Susan's the only person that knows what's on these sheets. And she knows that I've left it over and over again. And so she's like, oh, please, just don't, you know. But I love it. It opens the door. When we let it come through us, we abide in Him. He abides in us. That's where it comes from. Now, I hate to tell you, but Jesus really doesn't need our help. Okay? He doesn't need our help. He's Jesus. Do you not know who I am? When we serve, and the Spirit comes through us, we're the ones. We're the ones that are being transformed. We're the ones that are serving. Yes, Jesus came to serve. We should be serving. But it's us that are getting from the service. Jesus doesn't need our help to do whatever it is. There's Jackson. Okay. I heard I know y'all, I'm a Jackson Brown. I love Jackson Brown. He's one of my favorite singer-songwriters of all time. He's got a song called The Rebel Jesus. It's a neat song. And in there he says, you may give to the poor. You may give to your relations. When it comes and you get a phone back. But don't ask why they're poor, or you'll get the same spirit of Jesus. It's a pretty good song. It's pretty good thoughts. And I guess to pull this, another story, and you've probably heard this one over and over, but it helps my simple mind. People coming down the river, keep pulling them out. Pull that guy out, pull that lady out, pull this guy out. This goes on for days. Finally somebody says, how are they getting in the river? Huh? Thought we were helping them, but actually, let's go upriver and see how they're getting in the water. Well, when we do that, then we've gone a little beyond. And then now we are helping. That's that go beyond that we've talked about so many times. I read something, and I wrote this down. There is a massive difference between helping people in poverty and helping them out of it. There's a big difference. It's relationships. This was the part that got me into it's relationships and community. Most aren't willing to incorporate them in the community. Food for thought. Serving others is the key to knowing Jesus. The dying to self to have life, or the surrendering to be free, is a way of life. To know some parts of Jesus isn't what is intended to experience the kingdom on earth, not parts. You want to know the whole Jesus. You want to have the relationship with Jesus. You want it to grow and continue to grow. You want to look at things and say, why is God saying? What is he saying? And what am I going to do about it? In the verses we see as we grow, there are times that we are pruned, right? It just makes us very ordinary. If we're abiding in Jesus and Jesus in us, then we can say, take that from me. Take that jealousy from me. Take that ego from me. Take that hate from me. Take that racism from me. Take those things of which are not of your character away from me. If you're in the relationship and you're abiding. So, we got back. Answers were good. So, in the verses that we see as we grow, there are times when we're pruned and then we bear more fruit. Okay. We are constantly working toward being and doing like Jesus. So to wrap up, I would say in verse 11 of our text today, Jesus says, I have said these things to you, that my joy may be in you, and that your joy may be complete. It's the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. All right. We're going to go into the offering. We got, Brian, are you doing the offering today? Attaboy, I mean, you work. All right. All right, I'm going to share to share something with you, then we're going to have a brief prayer, and then when Brian gets back, I'm sure he's looking for the buckets now. I got one for you. There's a rabbi and a priest and a Baptist minister. And they're talking about tithing, what they do with the money. And the rabbi says, well, we just draw a line. We take the money and throw it up. What lands on the right side of the line, that's God. And what lands on the other side, we keep it. Well, the priest says, well, we kind of do that, but we draw a circle. And we throw the money in here. What comes down in the circle, God does. And we take it. So the Baptist minister says, well, we're kind of close. We just take it all and throw it in the air. And what he grabs, he keeps. The rest of it is ours. So that's, there you go. There you go. There you go. All right. I think probably the moral to this tale is tithing is no joke. Tithing is no joke. Everything we have, we got. Just giving back the portion that he asked. And I think we had challenge. I think that Jacinda went with that one time. The challenge God or whatever, test God or whatever. No. It's our talents. It's our time. It's everything that we can do to serve and help. Because he's given us it. So during this time, I want you to think about that. Brian, are you and Amber gonna do that? That Brian, he's Johnny on the job. All right, if you would, you bow your head. I'll say a short prayer. Lord, thank you for everything that you've given us. Thank you for this day. Lord, as we give back that portion that is yours, Lord, bless that we can and give us the wisdom to use it in the proper way. And that's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen. thank you at home. Thank you everybody here for letting me share today. So in sending forth, know that you are His by your love. That's how they'll know. So go out and share the peace, the love, the joy, the hope of Jesus with the world out there. Have a great week.